And I know, they had it won. What Auburn was up by 10, 12 points late in the ball game.
Yeah, late. 8 points with 2 minutes to go.
That's right, and just.
Well, it was the star player that was making the mistakes.
Yeah.
Jared Harper, their great guard, turned the ball over 2 or 3 different times, and then he made a horrible foul late.
That was the worst one. On that 3-point attempt, he made that.
That was before the 3-point attempt. He made the foul, so he fouls out of the game. And
exactly.
Auburn was very fortunate. They had McCormick come in off the bench and score 16 points, which was a career high. But that guy for New Mexico State had a sure layup.
Yes.
Would have put the game in overtime. Instead, he passes it back out to the guy who shoots a three, gets fouled. So they go to the line, and all they have to do is make 3 free throws to win the game.
They only made one.
And then
they got the ball again.
Yeah, then they got the ball again because the Auburn couldn't get the rebound. They knocked it out of bounds, and with 1.1 seconds left, guy gets the ball at the 3-point line. I mean, wide open look, and doesn't even hit the rim, and Auburn wins the game.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. We were very, very lucky to win that one.
And then I go over and watch Troy play.
4-0 SEC yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'd forgotten that. I kind of lost track. I knew LSU won, Kentucky won, Auburn. Who was the fourth?
Florida beat a really good Nevada team.
They did.
A 10-seed Florida beat a 17 Nevada.
Yep.
And then the headlines on AL.com this morning is Avery Johnson, Alabama negotiating buyout. So Alabama's looking for a new basketball coach.
Yeah.
I hear, though, it could be as much as $6 to $8 million buyout. That's going to be something.
Well, he was making $3 million a year, and I think Alabama fans have had enough after what happened against Norfolk State and NIT, losing to a 32 seed against a 1 seed.
Mike, I want to touch base with you in a second on everything that happened, and of course we're going to talk about Frank Fryer. This is your life, Frank Fryer. Coming in the door right now is your first grade teacher, Frank.
Oh, okay. Miss Burnett from Troy.
Miss McGillicuddy.
Oh, McGillicuddy.
She was your first grade teacher. And wait a minute, here comes your junior high school basketball coach. And
I don't know where he's going, Mike.
This is your life, Frank Fryer. And ladies and gentlemen, this guy was a household word in Pike County.
Well, you're very kind.
Back in the 60s.
Your memory's better
I
than
was
mine.
just a young kid growing up watching baseball, and I'll tell you, I watched you play before you went to Auburn, and we'll talk about that too. But what I enjoyed watching Ronnie Lindsay. I was a big Ronnie Lindsay
Played
guy.
against Ronnie.
And Ronald Giddings, was a great player too.
Jim Starling.
Exactly.
Herbie Uner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Andy Harrell played a little bit. Of course, Ronnie Lindsay and Jimmy Rowland and not the radio station Jimmy Rowland, another Jimmy Rowland.
Right.
And I think Richard Williford might have played some. He was a young player coming up. But that, these guys played American Legion baseball and did a pretty good job. And Jerry Hooks played on that.
Jerry Hooks was on that too.
And so it was a very good team. But Brundage had a team, and they bought Jimmy Norman, a young Jimmy Norman, who was probably just a junior or sophomore in high school, but he could hit it. He played on
the Legion ball with Brundage
on that Legion team with Brundage, and of course we had Frank. You had Frank Fryer. You had Bobby Joe Ellsworth, who played pro ball. You played a little pro ball, didn't you? After
no, I had an arm injury at Auburn, and the interest waned, and so.
But and then of course
Knox Alfred Green.
Knox Green was the pitcher, and his daddy was the coach.
Yes.
Is that right?
Hobo Ray and Knox, the older Knox Green, were our coaches. Alec Bowden played with us. William Watson Jr.
Boy,
Johnny Dunn.
Yeah, the great Johnny Dunn.
He's
another young one.
He's still playing softball in South Florida this weekend.
Later on, I played on American Legion team with Johnny Dunn and Jerry Wilkes and a bunch of them. That was years later because there's a difference in mine and your age. But what y'all had Red Black.
Randy Black.
And he was a left-handed pitcher. Is that right?
Yes.
And you didn't know which way he was looking. Where he was looking at the mound, and had one of the best you couldn't step off the base a foot or he'd throw you out.
He would pick you off. Wayne LeCroy was a great
Wayne,
multi-sport
yeah.
player and played on the baseball,
fact,
footballs, basketball team.
That's right. In fact, his niece, Deborah Williford, married Richard Williford, Deborah Marsh.
Oh, yeah. Remember Deborah?
And of course, that's how I know Wayne LeCroy.
Wayne is still, he and Janice Steed married, and they're in, Dothan, Ozark.
Yeah, that's right. I see them at almost every Troy football game. They're big supporters. But this was a team from Brundage that was special, though. I mean, you had Bobby Robinson came up, one of your little
left-handed pitcher. Bobby, his older brother Benny played center field on the high school team.
That's right.
We just had some good kids and really some good athletes.
All right, now what year did you play baseball and all your sports at Brundage? What year was that?
Well, 60, 61, 62 were, truly active years. I actually played third base as a freshman in 59 when my brother John was right fielder.
Yeah.
And we had a good team then. Some of those same people you mentioned, the older ones, Randy Black, Wayne LeCroy, Alec Bowden was a year older than me, William Watson a year older.
Was the great football player who was later killed in an airplane crash?
Wade Botts.
Wade Botts.
Wade Botts. He did not play baseball, but of course he was a wonderful football, and we sat on the bench in basketball. But Jimmy Caldwell that we talked about earlier, my brother-in-law, we sat on the bench for the big win I mentioned earlier off camera, where Brundage defeated Enterprise in the district tournament. I think it was in Hartford, and the others, Watts Patterson, Buck Bowden, Alec Bowden, Wayne LeCroy, Randy Black, those were kind of the starters. William Watson Jr.
Yeah. All right, now I went to, that was that district tournament. I went to that game, that tournament.
Yes.
In Hartford.
I think it was Hartford.
And let me just say, James Booth played for you, Fowler.
Yeah. I'm not sure it was that year. He was definitely in that era.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Well,
he might have played.
Were you the same age as Ronald Giddings? Were you the same age as
I
Ronald?
might have been a year younger than Ronald Giddings.
Of course, Ronald Giddings.
Didn't Freddie Howard play for Troy?
Exactly. The starting lineup for that Troy team was Freddie Howard and Ronald Giddings were the guards. William Davis and Herbie Heener were the forwards.
And Crow.
And Crow played the year before.
Okay.
Yeah, Cheryl played the year before. He was a great player.
Really good player.
And the other one was Jimmy Rose.
Okay.
And that was the starting lineup. The reason I know all about this, I was the manager.
Well, you were the manager.
Hey, I was the one that had to mop the floors between games and so forth. And we all had these little old gyms. In fact, Troy played in the old Troy High School.
Yes, he did.
And then Brundage, where did y'all play?
We played in the Armory on the
Y'all
concrete floor.
You played the Army, and you would get your hands, they turned black.
Well, I don't remember that, but I remember the concrete floor, and in certain weather conditions, the floor would sweat.
Yeah.
And you'd be slipping and sliding.
Listen.
And we had a big advantage playing in that Armory because we practiced there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other teams would come in, and they were afraid of the floor, and they were afraid of the footing. And so
I used to officiate.
We had a big advantage.
Abbeville Christian, I used to go down there, and it would get real moist. You had to open up the doors, let all the doors, and it would be just slipping and sliding. And I told the coaches, I said, Coach, let me tell you something we're not going to do. We're not going to call traveling.
Because they were going to slip and slide.
Yeah, you got to go slip and slide. Paul Word was coaching down there. You remember the great Paul Word?
And Judson Dye.
Yeah, that's right.
We would come up and watch Troy University now play at their old gym. Yeah. And Paul Word and Judd Dye, and there was one guy.
Frank Miller was a good one.
And George
Norton, Big George Norton.
We said, smoke him out, George, when he would come in to play.
Listen, if you're a fan of that team, you're in paradise, because I know every one of them.
They were John Archer was the head coach.
That's right.
They were a wonderful team.
And every year we have a reunion. Just 2 weeks ago, all those guys came back to Troy.
Oh, wonderful!
William Thigpen, John Deuce, some other guys that throughout that were on that team, and Terry Wilkerson and Ronnie Hayes.
Yeah,
had a great team. Now, Troy's, and I think you might have done this. The varsity high school teams used to play the Troy B team. You know, and one of the guys on the B team was Tommy Whitehurst.
The name is familiar. I'm trying to put it all together.
But did y'all ever play them?
We did. We thought it was the freshman team, but anyway,
it was the freshman team.
We played at Troy University on their court then.
That's right.
We sure did. We lost to them, but we played them. They were pretty good.
Everybody, they score over 100 points.
They were pretty good.
They were really good, no question about it. Frank Fryer is our guest this morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that a lot of you folks that are waking up pass the word. I told Frank that he asked me, I saw him at the Troy baseball game the other night, and I hadn't seen him in years. Of course, we actually knew each other, but we never really been formally introduced.
That's true.
But I watched him play ball on some great Brundage baseball teams that did very well in the American Legion. Back then, the American Legion was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
The Jenright twins played for Troy, and their daddy, Mr. J.B. Jenright, he's the one that kept American Legion going in Troy, I know. And then, of course, your coach and
Knox Green and Hobo Ray and Brundage
kept it going at Brundage, and shoot, y'all bring in players from everywhere. I tell you who was bad about bringing in players was Union Springs.
Oh, yeah.
They bring in David Ray that played at Alabama, and
they had some good players.
They had some real good players.
Yeah.
They had a pitcher, Dean Chance. No, not
Dean Watson.
Dean Watson. It was a Dean Chance that played the Major League.
Yeah. Dean Watson was a real good pitcher at Union Springs, and we brought him down. He played with Brundage. He did. With Grady.
Knox Green, he was a character anyway.
Yeah.
And listen, I know about the squirrel suppers.
Oh,
you ever hear about that? I used to cook squirrels and shoot dice.
I don't remember about that, but Dean Watson came down, and Leslie Thompson from Clio.
Yeah, that's right. Leslie Thompson played football at Alabama.
Albert Elmore, excuse me, that's a Troy name. Grady Elmore Jr. played with us.
Yeah, see, his daddy was a football coach, and he played in Andalusia.
And then Ozark.
Then in his senior year, he played in Ozark, played in a single wing. And here it is now, a single wing attack, and one halfback was Billy Knowles, and the other halfback was Mickey
Andrews. Florida State.
Exactly, yeah. Let's go down phone. Mike, you still on, aren't you? On hold you. Good morning, y'all, today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Will Matthews.
Will Matthews calling in from Ozark, and we just, I've got Frank Fryer on the show this morning, Will.
Good morning, Will.
And he's a native of Brundage, Alabama, and he played on some of the finest baseball teams at Auburn back in the 60s, the early 60s. Is that right? The early 60s?
63 through 66.
And of course, he was a young man from Brundage that started at first base and left field. Is that right?
Left field also, yeah.
And of course, some of the best players around played for Auburn back then. Y'all challenged for the SEC championship every year, didn't you?
Every year. Champions in 63 and Eastern Division. We were in the East then. I'll explain that later maybe, but Eastern Division champs in 64 and 65, and not as good in my senior year. I don't know what happened. But the next year they went to the College World Series. QV Lowe came up from Gulf Coast, as did Jim Blauser.
Yeah.
And QV was 8-2 my senior year and 15-1 his senior year.
Did y'all have a guy named Dempsey? Dempsey?
Larry played. He was on the 63 championship team. He was a wonderful guy.
Troy later on, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Larry's passed on.
Joe Hollis played.
Joe was there. Yeah. Let's see what Will had to say.
Will, how did your bracket look, Will? Was it demolished or did you win?
I did one bracket this year on the ESPN thing.
Yeah.
16-0 yesterday. I've never done that before.
How wonderful. I thought I was good. I had 14.
16-0. Yeah. Wait a minute.
You had to pick
did not miss a game yesterday.
You had to pick at least 3 upsets. You picked Murray State,
I had Murray State.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was an upset, really.
I didn't either. I agree with you.
Yeah. I'm going to put you on hold here. We're going to bring Mike in, and I'm going to put you on hold. I'll have both of you on hold, and we're going to go conference call, hold, conference call. Well, maybe conference call, hold, conference call, and I think I got you. Both of y'all on?
Yeah, man.
How about you, Will?
I'm here, yeah.
All right.
Wonderful,
all
wonderful.
right.
Good job.
And of course, we were talking about brackets and so forth, and Will claims he got 16 straight. How did you do?
How did I do?
Yeah.
I think I went 13-3.
I was 14-2, and my wife was 13-3.
I had Belmont yesterday, and they lost a heartbreaker.
Did they really? What was that score, Mike? I like the Belmont.
They lost by 2, 79-77.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And so you're still doing pretty good. Is that
I did
right?
have Murray State. They won by 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell
we
you.
had Murray.
You were telling me that Murray State.
You know, Murray's got a guy that is a lottery pick. His name is Morant. He had a triple-double yesterday. You don't see that too much in college ball.
Oh, that's exactly right. You know, Auburn actually hosted and defeated Murray State earlier this year, preseason type stuff.
Yeah, Alabama actually beat him as well.
Did they? Okay. Wow. Well, those are two good wins for.
But he scored 39 against Alabama.
You know why? You know now why I let him call in now, don't you?
Well, he can run the show, can he?
Hey, he knows this stuff. But of course, Will called in quite a bit, and I'm trying to get to my bracket. Listen, this is laid back television. I'm sure your folks at home said, "What is he doing with those newspapers?" Well, let me tell you.
Did you go to the Troy NIT game against UAB last night?
And boy, it was a thriller. Oh gosh, Mike! Troy should have won that game. They led by 6 with less than a minute to play.
Yeah, well, UAB is really good. They're 25-6.
They're good, but I tell you, Troy was good too. I was very impressed with Troy.
Yeah, Coach Norton, I met him, the UAB coach in Birmingham when I lived there, and he's a class act. His son used to be the starting point guard for the basketball team.
Oh, really? Norton?
They said that was the biggest crowd ever at Troy women's basketball game. I think they had 2,500 people.
No, I'm telling you, I was there. They didn't have that many people. I don't think.
That's what they're saying. They're saying 2,500.
Well, hopefully that's the case, but it didn't look like it to me. But it looked like it might have 1,500, but I don't know.
You realize that gym holds what, 5,200?
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
a nice facility. I've been there, and it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah, it really is.
I was not there last night, though.
Exactly. Okay, let's go down those brackets and look at it a little bit. And of course, Frank Fryer played on some of those great teams, and we were talking about a team that he played on that had Grady Elmore Jr. You remember Grady Elmore Jr.?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And of course,
great player.
you played baseball with him in the American Legion ball.
Right.
Of course, he's a pitcher. He's a good one,
Yeah,
too.
very
right?
good pitcher. Yeah, good player all around.
He was
Great
like
pitcher.
a lot of people were back there. The best player usually played shortstop
And they could pitch.
and also quarterback and football, basketball. He would have been the guard.
And you remember we mentioned him earlier, Bobby Joe Ellsworth, who I think is on like a Alabama softball Hall of Famer or something.
No question, yeah.
He was a catcher, but he also was a fine pitcher.
Oh yeah.
It was
In
really
fact,
good arm.
he played the Dodger organization, and if I remember
did.
right, and
You're right.
Jimmy Norman played in the Cub organization, and they played against each other. Now, Jimmy Norman tells this story that they played against each other one night somewhere up in Illinois or somewhere where they were playing, and there were 5 hits in the game, and Bobby Joe got 3 for his team, and Jimmy got 2 for his
And
team.
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were super players.
Exactly.
Jimmy played with us a couple of summers in American Legion. But
We're talking about this.
So what years did you play college ball at Auburn?
I was a freshman in '63, and freshmen couldn't play varsity at that time. We should have, but we couldn't by rules. And then I was varsity '64, '5, and '6.
And Coach Nix was
Larry Blakeney played baseball at Auburn, didn't he?
Well,
Troy's old coach?
I think he played The 67 year, because he did not. We were in the Plainsman dorm. The 1 year I was in the dorm, we were there together. But he did not play. But he wanted to play baseball with us, but it wouldn't let him. And maybe he played in '67. Maybe after his football eligibility was over.
And that Plainsman
dorm. We knew Ty Coppinger too.
Oh, I remember.
Back then
I remember. Yes, he did. Ty came in as a freshman when I was a sophomore, I'll say, and then he was on our teams in '66 and '67, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
okay.
a
he
fine.
He married Debbie Duncan and.
And Debbie was a major red at Auburn back then. You know,
wow.
real pretty girl.
Well, Scotty Long was a teammate, played
right.
shortstop, and he was a wide receiver on the football team and all SEC baseball, and he might have made an all SEC team as a wide receiver.
Yeah, exactly right.
From Lawton, Oklahoma.
Plainsman Park.
Yeah, Will.
My alma mater sucks in basketball, but they are great in baseball and golf.
Oh, are they? Talking about Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a Vanderbilt graduate.
We played at Vanderbilt in baseball back in those days. We were in the same division then.
Yeah.
We were in the East.
And the basketball court, you could actually hit the basketball court in the air in baseball. Do you remember that? It was hanging over the left field wall or something like that.
Well, the football field was right there,
That's
too.
Right.
It still is.
That's right.
Yeah, right next to it. Yeah.
And so, of course, Will is. I keep telling Will that he wasn't smart enough to graduate from Vanderbilt. He went to what's the name of that school that starts with a P?
Peabody.
Peabody.
Wow, there you go. All right.
Is that right? Is that right, Will?
I took 2 classes over there because they lectured.
People used to wonder how Vanderbilt got good athletes because the school, the academics is so tough, and everybody said, well, they took classes over at Peabody.
Oh, come on now. Let me mention one thing. We're talking about Vanderbilt, and I then think of Tennessee and Kentucky. In those days, get these names. First base for Kentucky was Cotton Nash.
That's right.
And first base for Vanderbilt was Ron Whidbey,
yeah,
who was like a four-star athlete at Tennessee.
Played at Dallas.
Played against both of them.
Was Dallas's punter for 10 years.
Oh yeah,
probably.
wonderful punter.
Yeah, and of course he was a great one. I'm gonna throw another one in, and I know you know where I'm coming from. Austin Red Robbins.
Okay.
Didn't he play baseball at Tennessee? Didn't he?
The name is not clicking, but
of course he played at
Ron Whidbey,
he played at our favorite junior college down there in Marietta.
Oh, okay.
He played for them, and then he went to Tennessee and played. I want to say he played baseball too, but
okay.
But I remember Cotton Nash.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cotton Nash. It was amazing. I was playing first base, and Cotton Nash. I mean, you had to hunker down because he would rifle one right by you if you weren't wide awake.
I tell you, I would love for a friend of mine to be watching this show this morning. If you get a chance, pick up the phone and call Ron Sutton. Yeah, that's Don's brother. Do you know Ron?
I don't know him, but I know him through John, the uncle.
Yeah, well, he's a huge baseball fan. Of course, you know, his brother Don was the Hall of Famer and all that. And he was good, too. He went all the way out, I think, to AAA. They were raised out.
Some have said he might have had more ability than Don.
Well, he was really good. They were played. Went to Tate High School in Pensacola.
Okay.
Well, one of the best baseball schools in the country at that time. Of course, Don ends up going and playing at Gulf Coast Community College in Panama City. And QV Lowe, your buddy,
right there with him,
went and played there at the same time. So Mike, they had QV Lowe. He's left-handed. You remember QV was a left-handed?
No, QV was a righty.
I thought he carried himself left-handed.
Well, he might have, but he's a right-handed pitcher.
Okay, well, QV Lowe and Sutton were on the same staff.
And Jim Blauser. Jim Blauser lives out in Dallas, and he kind of keeps the Auburn baseball alum contacts going.
Yeah.
And I think he's now retired from communications company, but he came up. He had more ability, more real live fastball ability than QV. QV was crafty like Don Sutton and Greg Maddox, but Jim Blauser had more natural ability and a better fastball.
Who did he play for in the major leagues?
Oh, I don't know that he went on to the majors.
But I think he did. Let me just say this, that Sutton on this junior college team, you've seen Gulf Coast play many times. Sutton went on and played in the pros with the Dodgers, and Chief QB Lowe became an All-American pitcher at Auburn.
Oh, yes, he did.
And they went to the
College World Series.
QB
was 15-1 his senior year.
And you missed that by
1 year.
1 year.
I tell them that I taught them all they needed to know to make it to the World Series, even though I didn't make it to the World Series.
Mike, this guy is
World Series in Omaha back then?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. That was your goal every year, was make it to Omaha, and to get there you had to go through a regional in the Carolinas. I can't call the name right now.
I should be able to.
It was a different setup than today.
So what round was QB Lowe drafted in?
That I don't know. I will tell you, I think he's the youngest pitching coach ever in the major leagues for Leo DeRocher and the Chicago Cubs.
And that's something.
Leo brought him up.
Well, see, I can't even remember Leo. I always thought he was with the Giants.
Well, he was, but he was with the Cubs, and he brought QB in as his pitching coach, and he was the youngest in the history of Major League.
Will, it's dangerous this morning because this guy talks my language. We talk about baseball from the 50s to the 60s, and he's still got his baseball card collection.
I do.
And no telling what it's worth.
It could be worth a good bit. I guess my kids are going to find out.
Especially if you've got some in the mint condition.
Oh, well, I've got, they're in, I'd say they're in very good condition. I don't know about that.
Dr. John Key, who plays for the Fabulous Shades and was superintendent of education here, I used to take a baseball card, and this is the truth now. They could hold everything over except show me one eye, and I could identify it. I don't know what it was. Maybe did. And today, I mean, names like Bob Friend, Richie Ashburn, Camilo Pascual, who had the greatest curveball in the Senators. Yeah, the Senators. I could just keep naming them and naming them and naming them. But what I'm doing, I'm looking at Chuck Stobbs. What did he do?
Left-handed pitcher for the Senators.
That's right. And what did he do?
Did he give up the home run to Mantle?
Oh, God, Mike, this guy's dangerous.
565 feet.
Exactly. Considered the longest home run ever hit off Chuck Stobbs at Griffith Stadium.
In Washington.
Now, what would make me know the name of that stadium, Griffith Stadium?
Well, it was, yeah.
And then Killebrew, played on that team.
Yeah.
You had Pasquale.
The biggest mistake you made is you got rid of all your baseball cards. That's going to get retirement for your family.
That would have been, I'm telling you.
I could have educated you guys, no question about it. Frank Pryor is our guest, ladies and gentlemen, and Will Matthews and Mike Amos are on board. Will, I was talking yesterday, and of course we had Sam Judah Jr. on our show, and we were talking about the old ballpark in Ozark.
You remember? I played there.
You remember how hard it was to hit a home run in that ballpark?
Yeah, well, I never hit one there, but it was a big ballpark.
And you batted left-handed too, didn't you?
I did.
That's something I noticed.
Throw right and bat left.
And
Mike, there's only been one ball hit out of center field in that ballpark.
One. Wow.
Now who did it?
And guess who did it?
Babe Ruth.
No.
Gabe Gross.
Oh, Gabe, wonderful.
Well, it wasn't Gabe Gross, though, was it? Or no?
We'll say Wilbur Jackson.
Wilbur Jackson did it?
Yes, he's the only person to ever hit it over center field 500 feet.
Wilbur Jackson, the great football player in Alabama,
Yeah.
I was thinking you might say Bo.
No, it was Wilbur.
You know, they have renovated that ballpark, and they're bringing back a lot of tournaments. In fact, they have the junior college, state junior college tournament there every year. And, of course, they've left it like it was. Now, you remember the old bleachers at the old Pace Field? You remember them before they burned them down, don't you?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all played some games there.
Yeah, we did.
But those old Alabama-Florida League ballparks, and, they had one in Dothan Wiregrass something. I don't know if it's still standing or not, but they had a team at Dothan. They had a team in Crestview, and a team in where's the place got the good? Where's the good place got the good shrimp, Mike? Graceful. You ever eaten shrimp in Graceful?
Well, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, Panama City,
right, yeah.
they all had teams in that. Yeah. I think it was Class D or something,
right.
Florida League, but those players would progress and eventually make it to the majors.
That's right.
Detroit Tigers had the.
I mean, how old is Patterson Field in Montgomery?
Yeah, Patterson Field. We played there a few times.
They used to have a center fielder named Al B. Pearson for the old Montgomery Rebels. You remember his name? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, this guy's dangerous, Mike. He's dangerous because he knows all this stuff. It's just something sort of glued to your mind a little bit. But you remember those old Tiger Detroit teams? Those some of the best players that ever played for Detroit came right through Montgomery.
Montgomery, sure.
And everybody in Montgomery knew them. They went to the bars with each other. And, Smokey had a guy named Smokey Robinson. Smokey, not Robinson, but he was a great player. But
they had Jim Leland as their manager.
Leland was the manager.
Didn't a guy named Jim Price come through the Detroit organization?
They had Trammell was the shortstop, and
wow.
the second baseman was who's the second baseman on that team?
Man? Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell.
Yeah, they played on that team.
Well, there was another Alan Trammell from Eufaula that played at Florida that
exactly
I played
right.
against, and what a great athlete Alan Trammell was.
I heard Bear Bryant say so many times, why didn't we sign that guy? And like you said, he went to Florida, and I didn't know he played baseball.
Yeah, and Tom Shannon was, I think, a left-handed quarterback. He played baseball for Florida.
I remember that well.
Tom Shannon.
Yeah.
Mike, have I ever told you my Eagle Stadium story?
No, tell me about it.
Well, it changed my life, actually.
Wow, we need to hear that.
I was 14 years old, and my birthday is June 23rd, and back then, the travel team, you had to be 15 to 18 to play.
Yeah, okay.
I was 6'3" when I was 14 years old. I was a pitcher.
I remember that.
And they let me pitch because I turned 15 during the season. Well, I was pitching a game in Eagle Stadium, and this guy named David Johnson, who was 18 years old at the time,
I remember him.
Drive and hit me right between the eyes.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
And you never...
I was unconscious for like an hour.
Well, that would have been life-changing event.
And you were a young guy, too, weren't you?
I ended up going to Atlanta to these doctors. It was Dr. Yarn and Dr. Pound. They were plastic surgeons. And back then, plastic surgery was like unheard of.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, they told my dad we're going to have to do 2 operations on his nose. It's going to take 5 hours each.
Good God.
Well, I don't know. Let me just say this. I don't know who did it, but he did a terrible job.
Yeah, well, anyway, I go up there, and I could do the first operation, and they get about almost done. They told my daddy, they said, Mr. Matthews, I think we can do it all in one time, just one operation, So I was on the table for like 9 hours. Well, I went back about a month or 2 later, and he started pulling the packing out of my nose, and it was all up in my sinus. Blood was going everywhere. I fainted. I mean, it was awful. Anyway, he told me, he said, your baseball is over. You cannot play baseball again. If you ever got hit in the nose, it can kill you.
Wow.
Golly.
Because I've got a fiberglass nose.
Really?
And
I never heard this story, well.
I was supposed to go back and get it redone after 20 years, but I never did. But anyway, I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, have you ever played golf? And I said, no. And I was 15 years old, and my dad got me a set of golf clubs, and the golf pro at the Dothan Country Club, Fred Settle, taught me how to play golf. And what he would do on his Mondays, he would come give me a lesson. He'd go to Brundage and give Ronnie Mobley and Bill Hamrick a lesson.
Oh, wow.
Then he'd go to Greenville and and give the Hancocks a
Oh,
lift.
yeah, they're pretty good, wasn't they? Yeah.
On his off day. Okay? And within a year, I was a scratch golfer, and at age 15, I mean, within 1 year, I played the Future Masters. Was the first tournament I'd ever played in.
Oh, wow.
And I led the tournament after 2 days.
Oh, boy, wasn't that something? But you had some of the best instruction around, no question about it.
Yeah, he was a great teacher.
Yeah.
He's still alive. He lives in Kentucky. And he taught a lot of good players in South Alabama back then.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. Out of all, and I know he's got it. I know it's going through his mind right now, but I'm going to say something here. You know, as old as baseball is, and major leagues have been there a long time, and we've heard home run stories. We've heard all of them. There's only one time that really has stuck with people over the years on a pitcher being hit by a line drive. And I know he's gonna. I know this is a piece of cake for this guy. Hey, listen. Two gurus on, and I'm one of them, and he's one of them. Anybody knows me, I really know the history back here. There's no question. The pitcher's name was
Herb Score.
Herb Score. Herb Score, left-handed pitcher with the Cleveland Indians.
Threw little BBs.
All right, now who hit the baseball?
Gil McDougal.
Gil McDougal. This guy's look here, Herb Score and Gil McDougal.
And you know what? It pretty well ended Gil McDougal's career.
I didn't realize
it upset him so much.
He played third base for the
second Yankees.
Andy Carey had that. Not Andy Carey. Well, Andy Carey
he played third base. Yeah.
And
McDougal was at second.
Yeah. Then the other great third baseman.
Clete Boyer.
Clete Boyer. Yeah. That could have had a little difference.
And Bobby Richardson was after McDougal for sure.
Yeah. Kubek was the quarterback.
Kubek was second base too. Yeah.
And shortstop.
Yeah.
Pee Wee Reese. Not Pee Wee, but Phil Rizzuto. He had to wait for him.
Yeah. But McDougal's line drive ended Score's career and, in effect, wound up.
And Score was a great fastball pitcher.
Oh.
And he would have been on the same staff with Early Wynn, Bob Lemon, the great
Mike Garcia.
No, the great strikeout pitcher. Now, he might not have been there, but
Bob Feller. He was at the end of his career when those were well-known names.
No question about it.
And Hal Newhouser.
Yeah.
I think
that's right.
Mike, I'm surprised that has not happened more times.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly right. You would think it would have happened a lot of times. You're exactly right.
And you know what? It's going to happen with these metal bats, these aluminum bats in the college.
Yeah,
and
some, I'm sure.
And I tell you what, I've lobbied where I can for years that these maple bats or whatever they're using in the pros, those things have got to go. When they break, shards go everywhere, and they're going to take out fans or they're going to take out players, and that's when they'll change it back to ash.
Let me tell you something. And again, Herb Score would have been one of the all-time greats. He later on played with the White Sox, but never really did much. And then he ended his career as a sports analyst.
I think he's still with Cleveland.
Yeah, and of course you're a big White Sox fan.
I am now. Yes.
Yeah, by living in Chicago. But boy, I tell you what, we got a lot to talk about. There was those things that you know, but. Score would have been, he threw the ball close to 100 miles an hour.
Oh, he would have been a surefire Hall of Famer.
And Cleveland already had those great players. All right, quickly, who played third base for him?
Al Rosen.
You're exactly right. It's my brother's favorite player.
He was they called him Flip for some reason, but he was MVP in the, 54 when they won the
I hate to ask you this, but who played first base and who made the catch against
Big Words?
Big Words.
Willie Mays.
What's he famous for?
Over the head catch behind the back
at the Polo Grounds.
And then he threw out somebody.
That's right.
On the same
I always wonder. This had to be an All-Star game or a World Series because they didn't play
World
the
Series.
World Series.
It was 54 World Series.
And Mays goes back and catches it
over the head, like a wide receiver, like Terry Beasley at Auburn years later.
Exactly. Gosh, yes, you're exactly right. In fact, I've said, Mike, how many times have I said catch it like Terry Beasley? You remember that?
Yeah, many times.
You know, catching it over his head like that. But you know, Beasley was the best in the world at
He was wonderful.
He
He
really
was amazing. Yeah. But
No
Vic
question.
Wirtz hit that. Would have been a home run anywhere, but Polo Grounds is like 550 feet out there.
And you know, all right, exactly. And I'll tell you, another ballpark was like that. And everybody says, oh, Hank Aaron this and Hank Aaron that. But Mickey Mantle played at Yankee Stadium. Now, they had a short porch in right field, you know, which was unfair almost.
Yeah.
But in center field, it was 440. And there
actually,
was a lot of balls hit out there. That he hit out there would have been easy home runs anywhere else.
Someone,
he played that big ballpark.
his power was to dead center field. And at one point out there, it was 532 feet.
It really was. It was
and
unreal.
the monuments were in play in center field.
Yeah, exactly right.
They said he flied out 400 times. It would have been home runs anywhere else.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Mantle was my guy.
Mine too. That number seven. Only Mantle could wear number 7 because he had the back for it.
Yeah, he
had
really
that
did.
back. In fact, I'm going to show you a picture before you leave today in this room here of one of Mickey Mantle.
I loved Dizzy Dean and Buddy Blattner on CBS. They had the Yankees most every weekend.
Yeah.
And Dizzy would say, "Look at Mantle, power to burn." And
yeah, exactly.
When he would grip that bat, he said, "Look, the sawdust dropping right out of that bat."
I'm fixing to die if he answers this one. And coaching over at third base, good old
Tony Cuccinella.
I'm fixing to faint. Listen, I have met my master.
Casey Stengel, the old professor.
Exactly. But how many times did, now I'm going to say something in a minute too, but how many times, I hope a lot of people are watching this show today, because how many times have you heard Dizzy Dean saying, and coaching over at third base is good old Tony Cuccinella.
And he called him push
and
him
now,
up. Push
and
him
now
up,
they're
Tony.
pouring that golden beverage into that glass.
Falstaff.
And it's the choicest product.
Falstaff beer.
I know, but it was called the choicest product of the Brewer's Ark. Have you ever heard of that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't a beer drinker in those days.
Well, well, let me just say this. I was just a little kid, but and they advertised it on TV. It sure did look good. You know,
and I think old Diz and Buddy Blattner enjoyed it in the booth.
And Pee Wee Reese was with him for a long time.
Yes,
he worked in the box with him.
After Buddy.
Nobody was any better than the great Dizzy Dean.
Yeah.
And that was a
not sure
Blue Darter.
Oh, Blue Darter.
How many times you ever heard say that?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the English teachers got on old Diz about his
That's
English.
right. That's right.
And he had one word for him. He said, "You know, teachers, a lot of people that ain't saying ain't eating either."
Oh yeah, exactly.
They were getting on him for saying ain't.
Yeah.
Now it's in the dictionary.
All right. He later on was famous for selling what item?
Wow.
You cooked down with
Smokers or
old Diz and
charcoal.
charcoal.
Yeah.
You remember
Okay,
that?
old Diz.
Yeah, old Diz.
I do
Where
remember.
was what town?
You can still find that every once in a while.
Where was Dizzy Dean's hometown?
Well,
Mississippi.
it was,
I know, all right, but all right, you got that part right, but whereabouts in Mississippi?
It was between Hattiesburg and Gulfport. Somewhere.
there you go.
Well, you're close. He was from Wiggins, Mississippi.
Wiggins.
Y'all ever heard that? All right, now who was from Yazoo City, Mississippi?
Jerry Clower.
You got it, my friend. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Man, oh man.
One of the best names in pro sports ever, though, was Vinegar Ben Mizell.
Yeah.
From
Alabama. From Vinegar Ben, Alabama.
That's right.
He was from Vinegar Ben, Alabama. And, you're right.
Mike, when I was about 10 years old, Jerry Clower spent the night at my house.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh gosh, now people are saying now, oh no way. It reminds me of when this guy golf, listen, it reminds me when this guy golf came through here shooting up everybody.
Oh yeah.
And robbing the banks.
Oh, yeah.
And then people the next day in the Messenger saying, oh, I saw him looking at the Troy Bank the week before. And I saw him there, and old Albert Scarborough, who was not just right, but he was crazy when he had to be. And he said, and John Lou Womble said he sold him a beer. Golly. All right, and John Lou Womble ran Coop's place right down the street, and it was right next to the bank. And this guy said, I saw him in downtown Troy, and then now John Lou Womble said he sold him a beer.
When I was 10 years old, my daddy was big in the Rotary Club.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Rotarian.
And he had, Jerry Clower came and spoke to ladies' night dinner at the Ozark Rotary Club, and he spent the night in our house. I'll never forget it.
Now, I'm going to tell you something that will shock you. It will shock you, and hey, no telling us what it's worth. I've got a video.
Hey, Mike, Jerry Clower played in the domino tournament.
All right, that's what I'm fixing to tell you, Will. I've got a video of Bear Bryant and Jerry Clower at the domino championships in Andalusia. I've got a tape on it.
Oh, that'd be wonderful to see.
Oh yeah.
Now, can you believe that? Now, let me tell you this. Do you play dominoes?
I have played dominoes.
All right. In this guy's mind, he is the number 3 or number 5 ranked domino player in the world.
Jerry Clower was?
No, I'm talking about Will. Will.
Oh, Will. Oh, Will is. Will, wow. That's wonderful.
Yeah, Will, Bear played a lot of dominoes, they said, and he played some in that tournament, I think.
Now, I'm sure I told you about Bear Bryant going to Lou Verne, played in the golf tournament before.
Yeah, but I think it's worth listening to. Mike, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm on.
All right, now I want you to hear this now.
Yeah, I hadn't heard it.
This is the young golfer now talking that. Yeah, go
Lou
ahead.
Verne for years had a one-day golf tournament.
You remember those one-day golf tournaments?
Brundage had them,
Yeah.
July 4th.
I won the Lou Verne golf tournament 3 times in a row, and I retired the trophy, which still sits in my house.
All right.
That Lou Verne course had a bunch of long par 4s.
Oh, yeah. One year, Coach Bryant was down there, and he was playing with a preacher from Lou Verne. And Bear Bryant had some red pants on. And all along during the day, the preacher would say, Coach Bryant, those are the finest red pants I've ever seen. Just over and over and over and over. It kind of irritated him. well, after the day, somebody needed to take Coach Bryant to the airport. So the preacher, he volunteered to take him to the little airport, get on the plane to go back to Tuscaloosa. So he takes him to the airport, and Coach Bryant gets on the plane. He takes off the red pants and throws them on the concrete out there. He said, here, you SOB, you like them better than I do.
Oh, what a great story. Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's full of them, I tell you. But I can understand that being that because Bryant plays in that tournament every year. The old state representative there in Lou Verne was big buddies with him. I can't remember.
Oh, Wendell?
No, yeah, Wendell Mitchell, but he was later on, I think. Walking Wendell, yeah. I loved old Wendell. Of course,
been there a long time.
yeah. We'll we are looking at the brackets right now, and there were no upsets evidently. Is that right?
Yeah,
there was 3 or 4.
All right, Murray State.
Florida beat Nevada. Minnesota beat Louisville.
Right.
Yeah.
Minnesota beat Louisville.
I had both of them, and then Murray State was an upset too, I think.
It was, but it didn't surprise too many of us because they were really good.
Gonzaga and Michigan State won, didn't they? Or did they play today?
No, they won. Gonzaga, Baylor, Murray State,
Baylor,
Florida.
that was a big win for Baylor, wasn't it?
Yeah, Syracuse suspended one of their top players before the game. I think it kind of hurt them.
Oh,
yeah, that would have. Florida, Michigan.
The guy just scored 29 points against Duke.
Oh, wow.
Man,
Maryland and LSU won. Florida, Michigan won. Wofford and Kentucky, Auburn, Kansas, and Nova and Purdue.
Yeah. Wofford won?
I tell you, get to shoot the lights out as Wofford.
Yeah, they shoot the 3, don't they?
Yeah, they're a good team.
I was, Belmont was in the back of my mind. I was hoping they would do well, but they lost to Maryland.
Yes, but
they led the whole game up until the very end.
2 points, I think.
You know the coach at Maryland used to coach at Jacksonville State. Did you know that?
Yeah, Mark Turgeon.
Yeah, done a great job.
I was interested
so Maryland won.
Yeah, Maryland won. I was interested.
Will went 16-0. That's true.
Will Matthews goes 16-0, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, put it on your ticker tape. Matthews.
I've never done that before. Run through today's games, and I'll tell you who I've got in these.
Okay, I'm going to find this to be interesting.
Okay, yeah.
On the other bracket, all right, starting with, now Mike, how did you do? You did pretty well. Did Mississippi State win?
They didn't. They played today.
Oh, okay. All right.
SEC was 3-0 though. I mean 4-0.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second half of your bracket, and it starts with Virginia and Gardner-Webb. Who do y'all like there?
Virginia.
Of course, Virginia. Okay, Mississippi, Ole Miss playing Oklahoma ought to be a good one.
I've got Ole Miss in that one.
Yeah, I think I do too.
All right.
I got Ole Miss.
I'll take Ole Miss. All right, Wisconsin and Oregon. That's a pretty good one right there.
I've got Oregon in that one.
I do too.
I took Wisconsin.
Well,
Wisconsin.
We'll
I'm going to take whiskey too. I'm going to take whiskey. Okay.
K-State and UC Irvine.
All right, Irvine. Okay, who y'all got there?
K-State.
Me too.
K-State.
Then you drop down to Cincinnati, Iowa.
Cincinnati.
I got Cincinnati.
I got Iowa in a
All right,
mild
now,
upset.
wait a minute now. I'm running behind.
Well, you
Villanova
dropped
and St. Mary's.
Well, Villanova won.
Villanova won.
Close, yeah.
But all I'm
And Purdue beat ODU by, I don't know, 10-11.
Okay. Cincinnati beat Iowa?
No, they're playing today.
Oh, okay.
So they were just saying.
All right, who do y'all like here?
They like Cincinnati, and I mentioned Iowa in a mild upset.
All right. And, okay, I'm going to take Cincinnati.
Okay.
Tennessee and Colgate.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Okay.
Carolina over Iona.
All right. Yep.
Carolina.
Yeah.
I got you. Here's a
You
good
got
one here.
Duke over North Dakota State. A good game today will be Virginia Commonwealth against Central Florida, 8-9. This is going to be a tough game to pick. I'm going to take Central Florida.
I got Central Florida.
I've got Central Florida in that one.
Central
Okay.
Florida's center is 7'6".
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. Taco Bowl or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Michigan State against Liberty.
Michigan. Oh, that's Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, I'm
yeah.
sorry, Mississippi
Yeah, we're
State.
going with State on that.
State, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Virginia
State.
Tech and St. Louis.
I got Tech. They should be favored.
Well, what do
You
y'all
got
think?
Tech.
Kill us.
I tell you what, St. Louis is pretty good. I'm going to take St. Louis.
Okay, there's your
That
upset.
might be our next, Mike. That might be our next.
That could be.
Okay, Utah State.
Come on, Buzz. Yeah.
Utah State and Washington. Who do y'all like there?
I took Utah State.
I got Washington in a close one, but Utah State actually comes in with a real good record.
That's the guy, our former athletic director here, Mike, is now the athletic director at Utah State.
Yeah, John
I'm
Hartwell.
going to take Washington. You know, they're right next to each other. They're
Yeah.
pretty close.
Then you drop down to Iowa State, Ohio State. I got Iowa State. Iowa State played real well.
Have they?
They've been
I'm glad
playing
you
real
told me.
well.
I'm glad you told
And
me
the
that.
Iowa State coach was at Alabama under Hobbs. He was a student manager and assistant under Hobbs for 5 years at Alabama. The Iowa State coach. So you might want to mention him for the
All right,
Alabama
here's
job, too.
your lone Sun Belt team is Georgia State. They're playing Houston. Houston 31-3. They, you got to go with them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Houston. Will's team is Buffalo. Buffalo plays Arizona State. Will, you got Buffalo going to what? The Elite Eight or the Final Four?
I got them to the Final Four.
Did they win? Did they beat Arizona State?
Well, that's today.
Oh,
Arizona
okay.
State won a play-in game, you know.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so Florida and Vermont
Well,
today.
Florida beat.
They did?
Yeah, Florida and Michigan won.
Florida beat Nevada. Vermont played Florida State lights out yesterday.
Yeah.
Florida State won.
And then the only team we haven't mentioned the game is Texas Tech in Northern Kentucky.
That's a blowout.
Yeah, Tech should win that.
Well, okay, take Texas Tech. And all right, and y'all said that Florida beat Nevada.
They did.
All right, now who won the? All right, now Buffalo plays tonight.
They played sometime today.
Or sometime today.
I have not seen a announcement yet on Auburn versus Kansas tomorrow.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: who y'all gonna take?
What do you want to know?
The time?
Guess who's favored in that game?
They say Auburn by a point or two.
Auburn a point and a half favored.
Yeah, not the way they played yesterday. They'll get run out of the gym, but hopefully they'll play better.
I think Auburn's going to beat Kansas. I've got them in my
Sweet 16.
I've got them going far into the tournament.
You know, Auburn.
I've got them getting beat by North Carolina.
Auburn did not shoot the ball like they've been shooting it. You know, if they shoot it like they've been shooting it, they'll beat Kansas.
Well, if they don't make the mistakes of yesterday, and if they hit their free throws, they'll beat Kansas.
Yeah. Well, all right.
They got to get the Wiley kid some more touches, though. I mean, he's 6'11", 270 pounds. I mean, there's not many people that can defend that.
Yeah.
All right, do y'all want to move on and do the rest of the brackets, or wait later to do that?
We've already done them, but we just need to do today's games. That's fine.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You
great.
didn't mention Troy's going on the road playing number 11 Coastal Carolina in baseball, so that's going to be a really tough series for Troy and Coach Smart.
And I tell you, I don't know what they're doing at Coastal, but buddy, they have put a lot of money in their baseball field. It looks like better than any minor league field I've ever seen. It is just phenomenal. The facilities they've got for baseball.
Didn't know that.
At
Won
Coastal
the national
Carolina.
championship, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, no question about it. No
They
question
got a
about it.
billionaire that finances everything.
Yeah, and he finally bowed down. He is not. I don't know if he's athletic director, but he's a billionaire that was athletic director and head football coach. He's about 70 years old, isn't he, Mike?
Yeah, he stepped down and retired.
And they retired, and they went and hired a real coach. You know.
Wow. I didn't
But
know.
this
That guy had a pretty good record, though.
Oh, I know it. He wasn't bad, but he did it for his own ego, you know, I think. You know, whatever.
Kind of like Boone Pickens at Oklahoma State.
Exactly.
Of course, he didn't coach, but he funded. They've got wonderful facilities there.
All right. Hey, listen, guys, I appreciate y'all calling in today, and I'm going to leave the rest of this show with us two gurus talking baseball.
Well, Will, I wanted to ask Will, you remember, was it Lamar Andrews, a good basketball player at Ozark?
Played at Troy.
Yeah, we played against him.
Yeah.
He was a dominant force as a center.
They had a front, and let me tell you, their front at Troy was Andrews, Steve Holly, and then my buddy from Mobile, Doug Carmichael.
Wow.
All right, and then the guards were John Ensland, and I want to say William Thigpen or Terry Wilkinson, one or the other, was a guard. That was a great Troy team.
Yeah. Was Thigpen from Greenville?
Yeah, from Greenville, exactly.
And who was the other?
All right.
Was he Lanier?
No, he went to Lee.
Lee High School.
Yeah, Pee Wee Ensland went to Lee.
Yeah. He was
and again, like I said, I'd love for you to come down for this sometimes. The last weekend in February, every year we bring in
I'm
the
here.
Archer group.
Just let me know.
I know, it'd be great.
I'll go.
And what are you doing now? You living in Chicago?
Naperville, Illinois. We've been there almost 30 years, but we spend 3 to 4 months here. We own Wynette's childhood home in Brundage. Wynette, my wife, is the younger sister of Jim Caldwell, who was a good friend of Mike here in Troy.
Yeah, and Jim was quite a golfer himself at one time, Will. Do you remember that?
I don't remember Jim.
His uncle was William Caldwell.
I know you remember
pro in
William.
Brundage.
I know you remember him, don't you? You remember William Caldwell that sold the golf clubs and all that in Brundage?
Don't remember him.
All right, he was a mentor for any golfer that came through Brundage, the Hamricks, the Mobleys, the whatever.
All right, now this be a good discussion here because Will played against them all. Will, out of all the great towns for golf, you know, Greenville produced a lot of good golfers, and of course Brundage produced a lot of real good golfers. How would you compare those two?
Between Greenville and Brundage?
Yeah, with all the numbers of good golfers.
I don't know. Well, the Greenville had the Hancocks and the Anthonys.
No, the Anthonys played. The Anthonys
Andalusia.
came out of Andalusia.
Oh, I thought you said Andalusia.
No. I'm talking about Greenville.
The Hancocks and the Wesleys.
And the Ryans too. They had the Ryans.
The Ryans. That's right. I think Greenville had the most number-wise.
Well, see, the Ryans and the those brothers, those two brothers, they were older. They were older. Talk about our time. Back who you played against.
Well, I just reconnected with Warren Hanson. He was a hell of a golfer.
Warren was a great player. I played with and against him.
Dave O'Neill was real good too, and they both played on Troy's golf team. And with Mike Griffin, did you know that was that team? That was a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And Mike Griffin.
Ronnie Mobley was with that group, wasn't he?
Well, no, he was younger.
Ronnie was younger.
Oh, okay.
He was younger.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, but Mike was his coach.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike was Ronnie's coach at
That's
Troy,
right.
at Troy State.
Exactly.
All right. You look at the Brundage golfers. Of course, both of the. Well, there were three good Mobley. One of them was a long drive champion. All right, the three Mobleys, and then Hamrick. And then Paul Hudson, that's five right there.
Yeah, Paul was good.
Of course, the guy that went to that went to Florida to play.
Jimbo Walker.
Jimbo Walker. See, people forget him. He played at Florida State.
Yeah, University of Florida.
University of Florida. Yeah.
He's an attorney in Florida. I don't remember the town, but.
And of course, there's a lot more that we didn't mention that. Mike, oh gosh, has bought more cars than anybody I've ever heard of, Mike. Mike Hall. Mike
Hall,
yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And he and Mr. Caldwell were big buddies and all that. And but you could go on and on.
Mike was a great golfer.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure there were some others that were good too.
I don't know if he competed with the folks we're talking about, but a really good athlete, and I think even today a good golfer in his 70s is Robert Steed.
Oh yeah, I know Robert.
Yeah.
Well, he
coached
at Ozark for how many years? Will did Robert Steed coach you?
He coached me in junior high.
Yeah, and you know what? He became a principal. Anybody would have thought Robert Steed would be a principal.
I know.
And
Robert and I were like brothers in Brundage before they moved to Brantley.
Yeah. Exactly right.
We're still good friends.
Yeah.
Of
course, there's other towns now. Enterprise, they probably had three of the best golfers on one team that I can remember. Mickey Red, Bill Brunson, and my other little buddy, Tom Cox. See, all of those went. Did all three of them go to Auburn?
Yep.
And of course, Bill is hurt now, can't play anymore. Of course, both Cox and Mickey Red went to Troy. He didn't go to Auburn. He went to Troy to play football. But he was a great athlete. Now, Mickey Red was.
We were talking earlier, and I thought Mickey Red was on the basketball team with Bobby Pascal and Wayne Purvis. But Mike says he was younger.
Way younger, yeah. I'll tell you some of the guys who were on that team because, like I said, I was the manager of the team.
You were manager.
Billy Cotter was on that team, I think. I want to say, and then of course you had Bobby Pascal, and then Purvis, the great free throw shooter. Now, this is a story that we tell, and it's the truth, but I've heard it too many times. This was several years back after he was out of high school. Wayne Purvis was coaching at Coffee Springs High School.
Okay.
All right. He was a great free throw shooter. I don't know if he did it the whole way. I don't know exactly which way, but he played at the great junior college down in Mariana, and all that. But he was a great free throw shooter. They put together a deal with him and JoJo White of the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
They had the event at the mall in Dothan.
It was in Dothan, that's right.
They put the goalpost up there.
I was there.
JoJo, you were there. All right, so it's the truth. All this is the truth. JoJo White, I think, hit 96 out of 100. And I think Purvis hit 98 out of 100.
Wow. That's amazing.
And he won it.
Purvis beat him.
Can you believe that? He's buying him a cup of coffee. And are you buying gas or are you buying you a cup of coffee and a biscuit?
I just got gas and got back in the car. The best Wayne Purvis story, though, was at Enterprise Country Club.
Oh, God.
And he was playing in a golf tournament, and he would gamble on anybody. And it was raining, and everybody was in the clubhouse up there above that lake by number 18. And he made a bet. He said, I'll bet anybody any amount to throw a ball out in the middle of that lake, and I can go in there and get it within 5 minutes.
Wow.
Wait a minute. We talking about diving in there to get it?
Yeah.
Dive it in there and get the ball out of the bottom of the lake and finding it in 5 minutes.
I'd love to see that.
The man that made the bet is dead, but I'm not going to say his name, but he had a lot of money. He bet $2,000 that he couldn't do it. So anyway, they got out there and they had somebody keeping time.
Now you got to come up with one ball now, one ball out of all those. Is that right?
I mean, oh yeah, they wrote on it with a magic marker and all this to make sure that was the ball.
Yeah.
And then this kid threw the ball way out in the middle of the lake, and in he went after it. And he started throwing balls to the edge of the lake. He'd go down and pick up balls that were in the lake and start throwing them, out. The 5 minutes were up, and sure enough, there was that ball, and he won the money.
Wow.
Well, I mean, was he swimming underwater? Did he have any underwater gear? Did he have any underwater gear, or was he just holding his breath?
No underwater gear. He went down there and found it, and then when he come up, he'd start throwing the balls back to land.
Yeah.
That's amazing right there.
He probably picked up 20 or 30 balls out there, but one of the balls was the ball that went in there, and he won the money.
That's amazing. Will, thank you for calling today, man. Have a good weekend.
See you.
All right, thanks, Will.
And, of course, Will Matthews and Mike, are you still on? Mike's hung up, and now I've got this guy, named Frank Pryor that is a guru, it seems like. Of course, Frank grew up in Brundage, Alabama, and tell us a little bit about your life growing up, playing ball, and all the way till now.
Well, born to John Lude and May Wilson Fryer, right here. I was born at Beard Hospital in Troy, and then played Little League ball, high school ball, whatever was in season. Ended up playing 2 years of varsity football for Alan Treadwell, about 4 letters in baseball, probably 3 letters in basketball. Yeah, one was a bench warmer, and 2 years starter.
I bet you were a good player.
Ran track. 440 was my and the 440 relay. So,
you must have been pretty fast. Yeah,
I was decently fast.
Yeah,
and then Treadwell actually put together our first golf team, and we were a ragtag unit. And I played at
that's what I'm saying. I don't even think they had a golf course in Brundage.
Well, we did. 1960 is when the course was incorporated. Yeah. But we played in Enterprise, and we had like odd sets of clubs. No golf shoes. I mean, we were a ragtag group, but we enjoyed it. And so I actually lettered in 5 sports at Pike County.
Of course, all right, and tell us what else happened.
Well, you mentioned American Legion. I had some college offers. Georgia Tech, Jim Luck, who was assistant coach there, and he died in a terrible accident going to the Georgia game years ago. He was coaching for Tech. He came to see us play and offered me a partial scholarship to play at Georgia Tech. And turned out I could go to Auburn, which I really liked anyway, for the same out-of-pocket expense as the partial for Tech. So I walked on at Auburn and played 3 varsity letters for Coach Nix, and freshman year coached by Dixie Walker Jr. Learned a lot from Fred Dixie Walker Jr. Learned a lot from Coach Nix. He knew baseball backwards and forwards.
And Nix came out of Greenville and he played ball at Troy, and then he stayed on at Troy and became the baseball coach, and a good one.
And he coached.
Assistant basketball coach, I think.
I think so. he coached, and I may have played with, but then coached Bill Hickson, who lives here in Pike County. We were sitting at the game with him two nights ago.
Exactly.
And then I played for Coach Nick. So Bill Hickson and I are connected by that, but also I remember him. I had that whole team on a pedestal there at Brundage with Bill Hickson at first base, and Hobo and Knox Green, and Bill Hudson played, and Mac Wilson, who was related. So that's kind of my sports history. Had a little look from the majors, but I hurt my arm my junior year, and it never was the same. I can throw better now than I could.
Give us some numbers at Auburn. Now, you batted left-handed.
Left-handed.
First base. Now, let me tell you this. The ideal, and I don't know why it's like this, but the ideal first baseman is left-handed.
Right.
And you use the first baseman's mitt.
But I was right-handed.
I
batted left.
I
batted left and threw right.
Okay.
So I started as first base my sophomore year, and then split time with Ronnie Baines, who was well known for football and baseball at Auburn. And my last 2 years, I played left field full time, and we had a great outfield with Reggie Gilbert in center, and Deke Hare from Albany, Georgia, in right. And
Hare, H-A-R-E?
H-A-I-R-E.
All right, but it's not the Jordan Hare. It's H-A-R-E.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, different hair.
It's amazing how you can remember all that.
I know. We had Harry Doles as catcher. Pete McKenzie went on and played some pro ball at second base. Shortstop was Scotty Long from Walton, Oklahoma. Multi-sport star at Auburn. I mentioned Harry Doles was our
Joe
catcher.
Hollis now.
Joe was part of that.
He was a catcher, wasn't he?
He was. Ty Coppinger was on that team.
He later coached at Troy and did a great job.
QV Lowe, Jim Blauser. Monty Sharp was a left-handed pitcher. He graduated in '65.
I've heard of him.
He was a year older than me.
But back then, Coach Jordan would let you play two sports.
He would.
That was good.
Yeah. Jimmy Kreisel from Lee High School in Montgomery was a
was
left-handed pitcher.
Yeah. He played in the Major League.
He was 9-0.
Did he?
He was 9-0 in a season where we played 26 games. He was 9-0.
Now this little guy that's a lot younger, but he had a brother named Charles Kreisel.
Yeah.
That was a real good athlete.
Yeah, they were good, very good athletes. Ben McDavid came over.
Yeah, Ben McDavid was a good pitcher. But he later made a preacher.
Yes, he's in Montgomery.
I played against him at Lanier.
And he's a
pitcher.
He was a kicker. He was a kicker as well.
Exactly.
And he went to Auburn to play football, but he ended up playing some baseball as well.
Yeah. Back then we played Lee and Lanier. And Lanier had this big old pitcher, big old tall guy named Ronnie Knox.
Oh yeah.
6'8".
Was he righty or lefty?
I think he's right-handed.
Okay, but Ronnie, I remember him, and the catcher played at Mississippi State. What was his name?
Yeah.
And Ashby Cook was shortstop.
Oh yeah, golly! And of course, Ashby Cook had a brother named Wayne Cook that played football at Alabama.
I didn't know they were brothers, but I knew the name.
They were either cousins or brothers.
Right.
I went to church with them, and I lived in Montgomery. My grandmother lived at the church, and I went to church with them for a while.
Yeah. Joel McDavid was Ben's father, and he was a Methodist minister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Dickie Calhoun here in town was a great athlete at Lanier, and his daddy was a Methodist preacher. They lived in Montgomery. And for some reason, the bishop always kept those good athletes at Lanier instead of moving their fathers around at the church.
Billy Livings was the baseball coach. He might have been football coach too, but definitely baseball. And he would bring their kids down to play us at Brundage, either in American Legion or high school. We played both. And he would tell them, he said, those kids are going to come out. Their uniforms aren't going to be as nice as yours. If they travel to here, they'll be bringing their stuff in a paper bag or whatever, but he says they will whip your butt if you're not ready.
Later on, I was a young Babe Ruth guy, but to get enough people on the team, Johnny Teal and me, they put us on the team, and we played our rec league, but then at the tail end we played American Legion. At least we were on the team.
Right.
We played at Rigwood Field in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And some of the guys, Jerry Wilkes was on that team.
Okay.
Of course, my buddy that chokes up all the time, Johnny Dunn was on that team. Knox Green was on that team.
Okay.
You know, as a pitcher.
Right.
Had a couple of Goshen people. Jimmy Norman didn't, I don't think, played on that team. I could be wrong. Richard Williford was one of the pitchers on that team. Terry Jenwright was on that team, and Jerry Jenwright. But real good team. We played at Rigwood, and we came out and we didn't have any jackets. We didn't have stirrups. We were the ugliest looking thing you ever seen. And here comes a team out that was a legendary American Legion team from what is the little suburb of Birmingham?
Bessemer. Oh,
Bessemer.
Okay.
They look like the New York Yankees. I mean, but you know, back then you had to have money, and you know those Birmingham teams had money and all that. I don't know how well we did, but that was my experience playing at Rigwood Field. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, the oldest baseball field in America.
Yeah, I didn't know
and I
that.
played on there. Do you remember that?
I remember it was old. But
and then later on, you know, the Kansas City Athletics had their
farm team
there, and people used to go out there and watch all those great players. One of them was the greatest one, Mr. October.
Oh, Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson,
wow.
I think. You know, because they had and then, you know, the owner was crazy, and they had all those fancy uniforms. And,
oh yeah, Charlie O. Finley.
Yeah, I didn't do it much, but a friend of mine that went to school at Sanford, James Lucas, they say they used to go out there all the time and watch those guys.
Wow, yeah, that's a great deal, great deal.
But you know, you grew up in a town that loved sports, loved it
year-round.
Baseball.
Wonderful football program, great baseball, decent basketball.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We mentioned earlier, maybe off before Will called in and your mic called in, that Wayne LeCroy, Randy Black, Watts Patterson, Alec Bowden, Buck Bowden.
How
William
about we
Watson
don't want to leave out a guy named McClendon.
Well, in football for sure, and he was a basketball team.
Yeah.
Glenn McClendon.
Glenn McClendon
He scored about 20 touchdowns, about like Wade Botts.
Yeah.
20 touchdowns his senior year, which was my senior year in football. The fall of '61, we went to the Peanut Bowl. Ended up tying Rehoboth 7-7.
That was big back then to go to those bowl games.
Well, yeah, Brundage or Pike County, known better today, went to the Lions Bowl in Headland. In '59 and '60 and '61, we went to the Peanut Bowl, and we won the first two and tied the last one.
Of course, you know, I played on some real good Charles Simpson.
Oh,
teams.
you had good teams.
And you know, one of the closest early, you know, later on they beat Charles Simpson a lot, but for years, you know, they didn't. Pike County or Brundage didn't beat Troy, but
didn't play for
exactly.
years. Yeah.
But the second or third year, it was my junior year, we played. Wait a minute, no, it's my senior year. We played against Jimmy Ramage and all the
Darryl Parker, maybe.
Wait a minute, this was my junior year.
Okay.
Because they had. Tombo Brantley.
Yes.
And they had my sign man was the quarterback.
McDowell.
McDowell.
Yeah. Okay, McDowell.
Yeah. And
Bobby Robertson was the running back.
Yeah, and then of course another Ian was the judge here in town.
Bill Barr.
Yeah. And,
Johnny Dunn played. Yeah.
And Alan Rogers.
All right.
Yeah. Let me tell you, late in the ball game, they ran a draw play to Alan Rogers, and I can still wake up in my dreams, reaching for him. He went 68 yards for a touchdown.
Really?
All right. So Pike County goes up. I want to say 13-7, and then we run the kickoff back. We ran a triple reverse, and Rusty gets runs it back to the 10-yard line. Sonny Williford, the late Sonny Williford, who I think is one of the best players to ever play at Charles Simpson, scores, and we go up 14-13. And then right at the end of the game, we fumble, and Pike County, Brundage, we call him Brundage.
Yeah, it was just Brundage.
You know, at the end of the game, had the ball on the goal line, and Big Johnny Pouncey, big guy, came in and hit Raymond. Raymond did weigh about 130 pounds, but he was fast. Hit him by the line, he fumbled, and we won the ball game.
Oh, wow.
But we were a junior team, and they had a real good team.
Yeah.
On there, you know.
You played here at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, Memorial Stadium,
yeah.
but that was one of the highlights of my high school
great
football
game. Sound like a great
career.
game.
But you know, all right, now you left Auburn and you went to work in Chicago. Or where'd you go to work?
Went to Texas, Texas City, Texas, with Union Carbide Corporation,
Yeah.
and was there almost 15 years.
You know, graduating at Auburn gave you a lot of opportunities, didn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
because of the big companies that you know.
Yeah,
it was a big co-op. People co-op.
A lot of people
right?
did. I did not because of baseball.
As a student, they go work for
a quarter, and then come back for 2 quarters. You
and
know.
then they hire them.
Oh yeah, you had a job waiting for you,
Exactly.
and jobs were plentiful in those days. Not quite as much like that now. But I majored in industrial engineering, which was a little odd for a sports player.
So you're an Auburn engineer, aren't you?
Yeah, sure am. Yeah. I used to get some minor ridicule, you know, good-natured ribbing, because on our bus trips to Florida or Florida State or Vandy or Tennessee or Kentucky or Georgia Tech or Georgia, I'd take books with me.
Yeah.
And I had to study to stay up.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys were going, you know,
Yeah.
what are you doing in that? You know, well, I majored in engineering.
Yeah.
And was, according to Deke Hare in Albany, Georgia, that's where he's from, I was elected president of the Auburn A Club, the Letterman Club.
Oh, man,
and he said, you're the first baseball player that ever been elected president of the Auburn A Club. And that was a real special honor,
You
I
still
guess.
get tickets and all that to the A Club and all that?
I have that priority, but living so far away, we aren't part of the ticket program.
Now let me bring out some memories because these two guys were really good, especially Tucker Frederickson.
Oh,
All
Jimmy
right,
Seidel.
now you said you lived in Plainsville.
With them, Forest Blue.
And then Jimmy Seidel.
Jimmy Seidel, Tucker Frederickson.
Donnie Sutton, no, not Donnie Sutton, Mickey Sutton.
Mickey Sutton, yeah.
You know, running back.
And what seemed like one of the Rawson brothers was still there.
They were.
Yeah, there were 3 Rawson
You know, Larry
brothers.
lived up, Larry and my buddy down, Joe Watson, who's an Auburn pharmacist. Larry was Joe's brother-in-law.
Okay.
Of course, he's deceased now.
Yeah.
He was a great player. All 3 of them were. You remember that?
Chuck Hurston was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the
But old
Rawson brothers.
Tucker was like a movie
great.
star. I mean,
he was.
let me tell you, he was such. They had him modeling bandline shirts. You remember that?
I'm telling you, he was something else.
Yeah.
He was a great player and a nice man, and still a wonderful guy. I understand.
And the Plainsman dorm was right on the right field fence side of the baseball field.
My room was 117 Plainsman dorm, and it looked out on the baseball field.
I went up there to a track meet one year, and a friend of mine, Steve McMillan, who's up there already, he owns a school record. He showbird a snowbird at 47 points against Pike County one night. It's still the record, but he was a big fraternity guy. And we went over to the athletic dorm, and they were busting up an old car. I don't know, you might remember it. There were a bunch of guys out there. I think it was one of the guys' car, and somebody hit it, and then another guy hit it. I mean, it's this guy's car.
It wasn't during my time.
But Tucker Frederickson was involved, and they called the campus cops. And I'm just scared to death of all this going on, and I'm looking through the window, and this guy sort of pushes me over, get out of the way. And it was Tucker Frederickson. Came in the dorm room. Tucker Frederickson, boy, he was a. You talking about Alabama's produced a lot of players, a lot of great players, but nobody had the mystique and the air about him as Tucker Frederickson.
Yeah,
I mean, he looked like
the word Greek god comes to mind.
Exactly. I mean, he was a pretty. He was a great player too, and he proved it until he tore his knee up in the pros. I think he gained 1,000 yards his first year.
He was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and the other one, the other running back, was the Kansas Comet. What was his name?
Gale Sayers.
Gale Sayers.
Yeah.
Same year. They came out the same year.
Wow, I'd forgotten that. You're right. They
so.
did. Yeah. Tucker played both ways.
Yeah.
He was safety on defense.
Big, strong guy.
Yeah, he was one. And they really didn't figure out how to use him until late his senior year.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he made All-American as a running back.
Now, I want to say that he ended up being a veterinarian, or was he a regular?
I think he was in vet school.
Yeah.
I think so.
And they say he had given back millions of dollars, to the school.
Yeah,
and all that.
He's been a great alum.
All right, they brought another guy the next year after they had Frederickson. They brought another guy from that area. What was his name?
I'm drawing a blank.
South Florida.
I'm drawing a blank.
Bird Wiggum coached him. Or recruited him. Bird Wiggum, they coached in Troy. People, made fun of him a little bit, but he was a great recruiter. You remember that?
Yeah.
And Nicky Zomko.
Oh, sure, Zomko.
You remember he came from that part of the country?
I'd forgotten, but the name jumps out now. Sure.
Yeah.
He was part of the teams that kind of brought Auburn back to be competitive with Alabama too.
Exactly.
He was part of that '69 team that beat Alabama in Birmingham.
That's right.
And probably part of the '70 team.
That was a pretty good quarterback.
Sullivan
Beasley.
to Beasley.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a gritty group.
And Alabama, one year, had knocked Beasley out of the game. You remember that? He was not. He had played a
1970 game.
Played a magnificent first half. They knock him out of the game, and he doesn't play until right at the end of the game, and he comes in and scores a couple touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, Auburn was down 17-0 at the end of the first quarter, I think.
That's right. Scott Hunter was the quarterback at Alabama, I wanted to say.
He was. And Auburn came back to win 33-27 or 33-28, something like that.
And of course, that was a great rivalry, and you remember all those guys that played on those teams. The best thing that's ever happened, I don't care what anybody says, it was great going to Birmingham and having 50-50, but it was only right because, Birmingham back then was, except for Captain Crunch and a few of those guys, were an Alabama town.
Pretty heavily Alabama.
And so when, it was
when
just
Pat Dye said we're going to play our home game at Auburn,
best thing ever happened to Auburn football.
And now Alabama is reaping rewards by having their Auburn game at Tuscaloosa.
It's the way it should be done.
Yeah. Exactly. Over the years, it started in 1960 with Georgia coming to Auburn. That's the first time they had come because it always played in Columbus,
Georgia. I know it. Yeah.
Tech never came until 1970.
Yeah.
Alabama never came, and Tennessee came in 1970 also.
Back then Georgia Tech was under Bobby Dodd was really good, and they were big rivals of Alabama and Auburn.
Oh yeah, Auburn played them every year.
Exactly.
It was a great series. It's a shame that they don't still play.
Yeah.
But then Alabama came in '89. But until then, as you know, they played in Birmingham. So
something we got to do before we go off the air is tell us who your bride is. And
Gwinnett Caldwell from Brundage, love of my life.
And of course, y'all been together how many years?
Be 54 in September. September 5th, be 54 years together.
Isn't that amazing?
And we dated 4 years before that, so it's really 58 years.
And you're retired now and live in Chicago?
In Naperville, Illinois.
Yeah. How far is that from downtown Chicago?
About 30 miles. About 30 miles from Sox Park and 30 miles from
Is that a
Wrigley.
good area? A lot of
Beautiful area.
A lot of corn.
A lot of corn and soybeans just right next door.
People don't realize how agriculture is a big thing up there.
Oh, the Midwest is wonderful soil. Indiana, Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, beautiful countryside.
And you come back here how often?
We're here 3 to 4 months a year.
Yeah, the cold weather.
That, but also September of last year, and we saw 4 home Auburn games, I think, while we were here in September. And the year before, we'd made 3 road trips, which is a little unusual for us, to Missouri, to Arkansas, and to A&M, and we won all 3 games.
Oh,
so
boy.
We were tickled.
Frank Fryer, ladies and gentlemen, has been our guest. I hope you have a great weekend.
I've had a wonderful time.
We're going to go downtown at Bird Drugs and eat breakfast this morning. So anybody that wants to come by to see us and meet Frank and renew your friendships with Frank, come on by there, Bird Drugs on the square in downtown Troy. We're heading right there, right in 2 minutes. We'll be leaving to go there.
It's been a pleasure, Mike.
Have a great day and have a great weekend. And, of course, we come back on the show at 1:30 today, and it'll run till 3 o'clock. And, of course, we'll see you bright and early Monday morning for Today in L.A.